one of the greatest books ever written in human history, almost vanished from the earth. Not burned by invaders, not banned by kings, nothing that dramatic. It simply began to disappear, leaf by leaf, house by house, century by century, until one man asked one question and spent his whole life answering it. This is the true story of how Purananuru was lost and how it was found forever. 2000 years ago, Tamil Nadu had no paper, no printing, no books as we know them. Every poem lived on dried palm leaves, letters scratched with an iron stylus, darkened with soot. In the humid Tamil climate, a palm leaf survives barely 200 years. Then the insects come, the moisture comes, the leaf crumbles into dust. So every single book had to be copied by hand, generation after generation. One unbroken human chain of copying, stretching across 20 centuries. And if even one generation stopped copying, the book died. No warning, no announcement. After the Sangam age ended, the whole world around these poems began to change. New devotion brought new copying. Temple hymns were sung daily, loved and preserved everywhere. But the old secular poems of kings, wars, generosity, grief slowly slipped from memory. By the 1800s, scholars still knew the ancient names. Purananuru, Anuru, the great anthologies. A few last manuscripts lay scattered in attics and monasteries, quietly, slowly crumbling. Now meet the man who changed everything. Born in 1855, trained for years under the greatest Tamil teacher of his age. By 25, he was a master scholar, a Tamil pandit at Kumbakonam College. He believed completely that he already knew Tamil literature, all of it. Then, in 1880, he visited a district official named Ramaswamy Mudaliar. The official asked politely, "What have you studied?" He proudly recited his long list. "But have you read the old books?" the official asked quietly. "The truly ancient ones?" Silence. The finest scholar of his generation had no answer at all. The official handed him a bundle, Chivaka Chinta Amani, an ancient epic poem. That night he opened it and could barely understand a single verse. The finest Tamil scholar alive could not read his own ancient language. That shame became his mission for the rest of his life. He began to search, village by village, house by house, year after year. He knocked on the doors of old scholar families, asking one question: "Do you have manuscripts?" Most families had completely forgotten what their grandfathers stored in the attic. But sometimes, just sometimes, a ladder led somewhere extraordinary. He was racing time itself. Some bundles crumbled the moment his hand touched them. White ants had already eaten entire centuries of poetry before he ever arrived. In some houses, palm leaves had been burned as simple fuel for the kitchen fire. In others, when a scholar died, His manuscripts were sent into the river with his ashes, insects, fire, water. Every year he waited, more of the anthology turned to dust. One day, he found a text he desperately needed, half its leaves already destroyed. So he tracked down a second damaged copy, then a third, comparing them leaf by leaf. Restoring a single ancient book took years of this painstaking, obsessive work. Some leaves he caught with only seconds to spare. Others he was too late for. In his lifetime, he personally rescued more than 3,000 palm leaf manuscripts. But rescuing leaves was still not enough on its own. Leaves died. He needed permanence. The printing press, the one enemy that time could never defeat. In 1887, he published Siva Aka Chinta Amani, the first ancient classic reborn in print. Then, in 1894, Purananuru itself, 400 poems, printed, immortal. He kept going for 60 more years, publishing over 90 books before he died in 1942. But rescuing crumbling leaves was still not enough on its own. He needed something permanent. Together, they pulled an entire civilization's literature back from the edge of extinction. Tamil Nadu gave him a name of pure love. Tamil Thata, grandfather of Tamil. The chain that once nearly broke now runs unbroken all the way to you. But here is the truth this story cannot soften. We will never know what we lost. Whole anthologies are named in ancient records that no living person has ever read. For every leaf he saved, we will never know how many vanished unwatched. Preservation was never automatic. It was a choice, made one leaf at a time. Every episode of this series exists because one man opened one bundle in time. So think for just one moment about every poem in this whole series. The jasmine vine, the mother on the battlefield, the women poets, all 9 episodes. Every one of them exists because one man refused to let it disappear. You, watching this right now, are part of that chain, whether you meant to be or not. Every episode of this whole series exists because one man opened one bundle in time. Next week, the final episode of this playlist, we ask the biggest question of all. What do these poems actually teach us? Today, about stress, about sharing, about death, about belonging to the whole world. The answers are 2,000 years old, and they might just change how you live. And they are only just beginning. If the crumbling manuscript in his hands stayed with you, you are not alone. Subscribe to the Chronicles, a new ancient story, every week. And tell me in one word, what would you rescue before it disappeared forever?